Hello everyone, I am Dr. Supriya Mandloi from the Department of English of the Bhopal School of Social Sciences. Today we are going to talk about romanticism in English literature, and for this we have divided our lecture into 4 categories. The first one is meaning of romanticism, where we are going to look into how the term romanticism originated primarily, what is the misconception regarding the term romanticism. Secondly, we are going to look at the factors that influence the romantic movement in English literature, and subsequently we are going to look at the major thinkers and philosophers along with the key poets and writers of the romantic movement. There is often a general misconception of the term romantic. In generally understood term, romance is often associated itself with the term love. However, romanticism is not just love, and the term romance is often not related to only love. Then how does this concept of romance come about us in our understanding and perceptions? Before we look at romance as a term, let us look at how romance is interpreted in literary works. The answers to life's most puzzling questions can be found by a connect with nature and by spending time and finding answers to these questions by a common man who is living in the company of nature. It is not to be found with people who live in and move in high sophisticated circles of the society. The writers of the Romantic period have focused on common man and childhood over the adult man and sophisticated life of the city. They believe that civilization has hindered the natural simplicity of the common man. They believe that finding answers to these questions is possible by spending time in the company of nature and having a conversation with the common man who works in the farm and the field because he is more connected with nature. They use the word noble savage to emphasize the natural goodness in mankind which has not been affected by the growth of civilizations. They believe that childhood is good over grown-up age because in a grown-up age, man is absorbed with the materialistic way of life, and this has been strongly responsible for him losing connect with nature and thereby losing his purity and innocence. So imagination and subjectivity are the two primary concepts of romantic literature. They believe that both imagination and subjectivity help a human being to understand and establish his connect with nature because they naturally come to him, they have always been with him, and in these moods when he is imaginative and when he is listening to the calls of his heart, he comes close to nature. Romantic writers lay more emphasis on nature than art. They believe that nature is the first reality, the first truth, and art is a borrowed reality. Further, the romantic poets have this primary belief in the thought that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions, emotions recollected in tranquility, as well quoted by William Wordsworth. For the romantic poets, sensitivity, feeling, and subjectivity are more important than having a rational, logical approach to all questions of human existence. To sum up, romanticism is concerned with human consciousness or individual consciousness, imagination, subjectivity, nature, and sublimity. If we combine all these elements together, we get the true essence of romantic poetry, which is very well exhibited and displayed by romantic poets in their beautiful works, which have become landmarks of English literature. Origin of the term romanticism. The words romantic or romance originally referred to medieval tales of knights written in the original Roman language, Latin. These tales often included love stories between a knight and his beloved, resulting in the modern meaning of romance. During the Middle Ages, which is also known in history as the age of feudalism, feudal orders dominated the class system of the society. There were various orders of knight, earls, barons, and prince who used to conduct and control the administration of the society. Now, these stories that revolved around these knights and feudal lords have been termed as the stories of the knights in the feudal age. Stories that revolved around these knights and their beloved used to be termed as romance, and this is how, because in those days we used to have a lot of influence of classical writings, classical literature, and that is the reason romance, being a term of Latin, found its way in English literature while describing the romance between these feudal lords and their beloved. Since the dark Middle Ages were dominated by ignorance and they were termed as dark because there was no spread of education in the society, which subsequently happens in the age of Renaissance. We find that the influence of classical literature has a strong bearing and impact on the writings of those period. Romance, being a term from Latin, therefore found its way in English writings also, when the stories of these knights with their beloved was described as romances. Therefore, to limit it with the term love would be to limiting its meaning and understanding. It is important to see how romance has come all the way from the Middle Ages to the 18th century Europe and established itself as a movement and force to be recognized by writers and poets across the globe. The age of Renaissance, which followed the Dark Middle Ages, is often termed as the first romantic period in the history of English literature. It was primarily because this age focused a lot of attention on writings which were free in spirit. We have writers like William Shakespeare who, even though they have adhered to classical writing somewhere in their works, still imbibe a free spirit in their works. Since the age of Renaissance, free expression of imagination has become synonymous with romanticism. However, it was used in a negative sense for a long period of time. The Romantic age that we are discussing right now is in history remembered as the age of Romantic revival. Thus, when we are talking about the Romantic era in literature, we are actually referring to Romantic as freely imaginative fiction. Freely imaginative fiction without any controls of rules and regulations, without adhering to the dictates of society. It was very important for a romantic writer and poet to listen to the call of his heart. It was important because he was governed by the spirit of nature and not by the rules of the society. Therefore, it becomes imperative for romantic writings to be freely and imaginative in order to bring out the elements of subjectivity, emotions and feeling, and thereby imparting a certain kind of sublimity to literature. Therefore, romanticism in literature is no longer associated with the concept of romantic love, rather it is free imaginative experience expressed in literary fiction. Two quotes beautifully sum up the essence of the romantic spirit of subjectivity and spontaneity. In the words of German painter Caspar David Friedrich, we get the true spirit of romanticism. The artist feeling is his law. If you look closely at this quote, a lot of freedom and liberty is imparted to the artist. It is important for us to also realize that if the artist is free, he will be subjective, and in that moment of subjectivity, his emotions will be heightened, and in this way, he will be able to establish a connect with nature, and the true emotions of the artist will pen down on his paper. Therefore, the emotions of the artist are his law, completely rule away with the canons of society. To quote William Wordsworth, who says that poetry is a spontaneous overflow of powerful emotions, emotions recollected in tranquility, we get an idea how spontaneity and freedom is once again reasserted and re-established by this remarkable British poet. Therefore, spontaneity and subjectivity are fundamentally the key concepts of romantic literature. Most of the writers and poets have incorporated the entire concept of subjectivity and spontaneity in their works, which has heightened the mood of romanticism when one reads romantic literature in its true essence. Since feelings had to be spontaneous and subjectivity was to govern the expression of these feelings, it was essential to express these feelings without the constraints of society. It was also considered that the content of the art had to come from the imagination of the artist. Therefore, society cannot control the artist's mind. Since we are talking about content coming from the imagination of the artist, the role of society is completely done away with. Also, there should be little interference as far as possible from artificial rules which have only isolated mankind from his own world. In order to bring literature close to the common man, it is important to write in the language of the common man, devoid of any rules and regulations which have made language only complex and ambiguous for the average reading public. Why is it important to make language simple? Why is it important to do away with rules and regulations? Why is it important to not follow techniques in writing? It is primarily because of this. Since we are talking about spontaneity, subjectivity, emotions and feelings, wherever these four concepts are brought in, it is important to do away with rules because they cannot coexist with rules. And why do we want emotion, subjectivity, spontaneity? Because we are talking about a society, a time in history which had simply got frustrated with rules and regulations. How we come to know about this is primarily based on the fact that the Romantic literature was completely frustrated, or I would say that the Romantic writers were totally disgusted with the strict rules and regulations that were followed in the previous age, that is the age of Enlightenment, when stalwarts like Alexander Pope and John Dryden were writing. In the previous age of Enlightenment, rules and regulations dictated the composition of literature. However, Romantic literature rose in strong revolt against these rules and regulations, and that is the reason common man has been brought on the forefront, and in order to connect with the common man, it has become imperative to bring in a freedom which associates itself with the free spirit and the free world in which the common man lives. One can also say that Romantic art was the personal voice of the artist. Yes, it was the personal voice of the artist because he was writing his own thought and his own emotions, and therefore no canons of society can control and dominate his understanding. Another general understanding of the term romantic is a kind of a psychological desire to escape from the harsh realities of life. Yes, most of the Romantic writers and poets found poetry to be the medium from where they can just escape from the realities which had started bothering them and their existence. It was becoming difficult for the masses to exist in a world which was dominated by conventions, orders, customs, traditions, which had become hackneyed and stale and worn out, and which were not ready to replace themselves with a new call of the new generation. Therefore, it becomes important for these writers to psychologically escape from this world and expresses a desire, a psychological desire to escape into a world where there is more emotion, where there is more feeling, something which is missing in the world in which they live. Somebody has rightly said, once the existing social order, once the existing social relations that hamper a human being are shattered, the natural man will be realized. His feelings, his emotions, his aspirations. Notice the use of the word social relations that hamper a human being are shattered. Social relations have only prevented the growth of human being in the way they were supposed to grow, in the way they were created by the Supreme Creator to grow naturally. Just as nature around us grows unhampered, it grows best when it has no control of human civilization on it. In the same way, human beings, if they grow in a world, in an atmosphere without any social relations to control their growth, this world will be more beautiful. Also, this natural man who was originally created as the true man with all his goodness and purity will once again be able to revive his innocence if he is not controlled by the social dictates. Therefore, we identify this important concept of Romantic literature, the absence of social rules and regulations. In the absence of social rules and regulations, the natural man will be able to realize his true potential. He will be better able to connect with his fellow brethren than when he could do the same when the rules of the society were enforced upon him. When we look at Romantic literature, it is always important for us to also look into the age of reason that preceded the age of Romanticism. Now, in the age of reason, which was dominated by poets like Alexander Pope, John Dryden, writers like Jonathan Swift, or essays like Joseph Addison and Richard Steele, we see that there is a strong emphasis on mannerism, on customs, on traditions, on adherence to rules. This is something that is missing in the Romantic literature. So one can easily compare the age of reason with the age of Romanticism. In the age of reason, reason and judgment dominate a work of writing. In the age of Romanticism, imagination and emotion are supreme. Notice the difference. Reason and judgment and imagination and emotion. There is a stark contrast between these two terms. Reason and judgment relate to learning, and society. Imagination and emotion relate to the natural human feelings. Therefore, these two literatures will be poles apart when compared in terms of these two aspects. Second point concerns itself with experience. The literature in the Age of Reason was concerned with universal experience, how all of us have to together feel the same thing, how we have to feel the same as anybody else is experiencing or feeling in the society. So there has to be a similarity in experience of these feelings. In romantic literature, we notice that individual feelings are more important than societal feelings, or individual experience is more important than universal experience. Romantics lay more emphasis on individual, as I have already asserted. Further, in the Age of Reason, emphasis was more on society than on individual. In fact, the individual was sacrificed at the cost of society. In the Age of Romanticism, individual is given preference over society. And finally, the Age of Reason values rules and the Age of Romanticism values freedom. This is important for us to understand the difference in this kind of literature, which started finding its shape and place in the 18th century literature of the Europeans. With this, we come to the end of the first lecture in this series of Romanticism, where we discussed how Romanticism started as a movement, what is the meaning of the term Romanticism, origin of Romanticism in literature, and the features that dominated the Romantic movement in literature. Also, we talked about how the Age of Reason differentiated itself with the Age of Romanticism. In the next series of the same lecture, we will continue with the factors conditioning the Age of Romanticism and the major writers and poets of the Romantic age. Thank you.